Hello and welcome back to Niche Tea, where we talk about drama happening in communities you may not be a part of. I'm going to use this video as a test to see if I should invert the videos going forward. I know I can't film it inverted, so I will do it in post starting here, and you guys get to tell me whether or not you want it this way. I already know I hate it, but I will weather the storm for you if that is preferred. Please vote below. Last time we talked about the Magic the Gathering community, specifically a situation where cards that were fairly prominently used in a specific format called Commander were banned in Commander, and people were not thrilled about it. Today we're venturing back into the K-pop community, and we're specifically going to be talking about a situation surrounding a boy group named Riize. Riize is, as mentioned, a K-pop boy group which debuted a little bit over a year ago under SM Entertainment, which is one of the largest music entertainment groups in Korea. Being an upcoming SM group meant that Riize was very highly anticipated prior to their debut, but also especially because they were a net new, I'll say, boy group from SM Entertainment, which we hadn't gotten in a while. We got a bunch of sub-unit debuts and like shuffle around groups like Super M, but not like a net new group in a while. However, unfortunately, prior to their debut, one of the members named Seunghan had some of his private Instagram photos leaked to the general internet. At least one of these photos appeared to depict Seunghan in what looked to be a hotel bed with a girl. The photos on their face are innocuous by Western standards. They are laying in a bed, but they're fully clothed and they're just hugging, like they're not doing anything weird. However, it's kind of understood, at least among Korean K-pop fans, that if you're going to be a K-pop idol, you belong to your fans. So you don't get to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, at least not for, I think the standard used to be like 5 years from debut. This was supposedly a pre-debut girlfriend that was no longer Seunghan's girlfriend, but it still wasn't something that people wanted to see from a debuting K-pop artist. And then on top of that, the anonymous account that came forward and posted these pictures said that Seunghan's girlfriend was under 18 and he was not at the time that the photos were taken. To be clear, I don't believe any accusation of a crime was ever made given South Korea's consent laws. But just like in America and other places around the world, just because something is legal doesn't mean that everyone considers it to be morally acceptable. And again, that's exponentially true among South Koreans when it comes to idols. They have very, very high expectation of what an idol is and what they should represent. Now, I mentioned all of this started before Riize even actually debuted. Riize did end up debuting as intended as a 7-member group in September of last year. While Riize was actively promoting their debut, the person who initially came out with the photos and said that the girl was underage, then came back and was like, actually, I didn't realize this was going to get so big and get so much backlash against Seunghan. I gotta be real with you, I just heard that from somebody and I have no proof that this girl is underage. Other people in Seunghan's life, like for example former classmates, had also come forward to give character statements and speak on his behalf. But despite that, there was already a pretty substantial group of people who really did not want Seunghan in Riize. Their general sentiments being that the pictures are bad regardless of people's ages, because why are you getting up to that at that age when you know you're a K-pop trainee? Plus additional pictures had come out that people were harping on, for example, pictures of him smoking, which was legal because he was 18 at the time, but again, it's just a bad look, and the expectations, again, being very, very high from Korean K-pop fans. And generally, a lot of people were just like, look, this guy already has all this scandal for what? Like, why are we holding on to him? He's gonna hurt all of Riize. We want Riize to be okay. Let's just get rid of this guy. Finally, about 3 months after Riize initially debuted last year, SM Entertainment put out a notice saying that Seunghan was gonna go on hiatus for an indefinite period of time and that Riize would continue to promote as 6 members going forward. SM Entertainment does seem as though they are defending Seunghan. They claim that it was his decision to halt activities because he was concerned about the negative effects on the group as a whole, and so he wanted to step back until things cooled down. They also state that a lot of this stuff getting leaked seems to be malicious in intention, and that in some cases it's even doctored. I'm not sure exactly what they're referring to in those cases, and they state an intent to pursue legal claims against the people who helped orchestrate a lot of it. But that's background. And the crazy thing to me is this story so far, extremely common in K-pop. Korean K-pop fans have functionally canceled multiple idols over the years for things that international and especially Western international fans would find frankly ridiculous. It's again getting back to that idea of like, what is the expectation of someone who is an idol? And in the West, we don't really have idols, we have singers. While on the surface that sounds like a 6 of one, half dozen of the other type of thing, it really isn't. Like if Ariana Grande was an idol, there would be rioting in the streets. So What happened? After the announcement from SM Entertainment last November, Riize continued to promote as a 6-member group for the following 10 months until October 11th of this year, when SM Entertainment put out another announcement saying that Riize would be welcoming Seunghan back into the group and they would continue to promote as 7 again. A lot of people, especially international fans who were kind of confused about the whole thing to begin with, were really happy about this. They wanted to see the group as it was originally intended. Some of them were Seunghan fans since before the debut, so there was a lot of celebrating. However, in addition to this, there was a really vocal subset of people who did not want him to come back. Some of these people are what we would call antis. They are people who really decided they don't like you and they don't want you around. So specifically, their issue is with Seunghan. They're not trying to have him back. The other subset are people who got used to Riize as a 6-member group, because after that first round of debut promotion, they've been 6 members, and that includes having comebacks as 6 members. So those people are like, why would we change the group as it is? I really like the members as they are. I like their promotions. They don't have any, scandals going on now. Why would we bring someone else in? So it's not necessarily they dislike Seunghan to that extent so much as they really just want the 6 people to be as they are. These people you would refer to as OT6s, which means 1 true 6, meaning the full true group is the 6-member group, and people who support Seunghan coming back are OT7s. This is where things start to take a crazier turn, because Seunghan antis and OT6s who did not want Seunghan to come back and were very upset about this announcement that he would be returning to the group made that known very quickly. Almost immediately, protests were organized outside of the SM Entertainment building in Korea, which is not like a simple thing in itself. You have to go to the police, tell them what you intend to do and where and what time, and get a whole permit and everything. They did that. They then sent hundreds and hundreds, I'm hearing upwards of 1,000 funeral wreaths in Seunghan's name to the SM Entertainment building so that it would stay out front. I'll put more pictures here so you can get a sense of what we're talking about. These are not small displays. This cost a lot of money and time to do. I also said something along the lines of Riize is 6 and pray for the deceased, referring to Seunghan. A lot of OT7 and Seunghan supporters understandably took as a death threat toward him. Bullying of Seunghan, because let's be frank, that's exactly what this is, was so intense that quite literally 2 days after the announcement that he would be returning to the group, he officially announced that he's just going to leave the group altogether. Again, SM Entertainment made the announcement and claimed that this was his own decision and something he did because he does not want to be the reason that Riize as a group has any troubles or fails in any way. And while technically this ends the drama because there's nothing really to be done at this point, he made the decision he's going to make and the decision that's best for him, and we should support him in that. There's still so much anger on all sides of this that it really hasn't subsided. As I mentioned before, this isn't something that happens really rarely. It actually happens like on average at least once a year. And as time continues to move on and more international and especially Western international fans get into K-pop, it creates a bigger and bigger rift within the fandoms every time it happens. Because no matter how many international fans there are who do not care about these things and consider this to be frankly abusive to the idols, they are based in Korea, and Korea is the primary market. It always will be. OT7 fans of Riize are now actively boycotting both Riize and SM Entertainment generally as a result of this to try and wield that same type of power that the Korean fans did before. Pretty much everyone hates SM Entertainment for this and blames them for some part of this, and I agree with that. I don't think they showed any proper handling of any of this because there's so much fear before statements are put out. K-pop agencies are honestly the worst. They will throw their artists to the wolves at the slightest hint of fan upset, and it drives me insane. SM has come out again saying they're going to be pursuing legal action against people. No one believes them. Everyone's annoyed. The latest twist in this story is that a report came out that internal documents were leaked from a competitive agency to SM Entertainment called Hybe. They're the ones that own BTS and are hugely involved in all the New Jeans bullshit happening this year. Those leaked internal documents from Hybe indicate that Hybe might potentially have been behind the leaking of those photos of Seunghan before their debut. And before Seunghan joined SM Entertainment, he was a trainee under Hybe, so they very well could have known about his girlfriend. K-pop companies are the devil. Regardless of the swirl at this point, I just hope that Seunghan is able to surround himself with support and love and recover from this, because I'm sure it's been very damaging to him, and that he's able to find something else to do now that his career has been effectively destroyed.